Okay, so let's start with the official story. Officially, February 5th is Kashmir Solidarity Day. It was established by Pakistan way back in 2004, and the stated goal was, pretty straightforward, to show unwavering support for the Kashmiri people. But, and this is a big but, the analysis we are looking at today says that official story is just a smokescreen. It argues that this day isn't really about solidarity at all. Instead, it's a carefully planned propaganda exercise. Alright, so how are we going to tackle this? Well, the source breaks it down into 5 key parts. We'll look at what this solidarity is supposed to be, then dive into the idea of it being political theatre. After that, we'll touch on something called Kashmiriyat and how it's being affected, explore the money and resources involved, and finally, we'll get to the view from inside the valley itself. So section 1, a day of solidarity. Let's look at where this all started. The day officially got on the books in 2004, but the idea had been floating around since the early 90s. The public message was crystal clear: to show Pakistan's total commitment to the Kashmiri cause. Okay, now we get to the heart of the source's argument, this idea of distraction and political theatre. The claim here is that this day is actually less about Kashmir and, a whole lot more about distracting from some pretty serious problems happening back home in Pakistan. And this slide really lays it all out. On the one hand, you've got the government's official focus, Kashmir solidarity, but look at what the source says is happening internally. We are talking major economic problems, being on the FATF's grey list for years because of terror financing concerns, and a really scary spike in terror attacks within its own borders. And check this out. To really drive the point home, the analysis points to the staggering number of 42% surge in terrorist bombings inside Pakistan in just 1 month. And what happened at the same time? According to the source, the anti-India rhetoric from officials got louder and louder. It's presented as a textbook case of look over here, not over there. So this quote from the analysis really sums it all up, doesn't it? The idea is that Kashmir Day acts like a pressure cooker, a way to let off steam and vent all that domestic frustration outwards, instead of being about, genuine concern for the welfare of Kashmiris. Alright, moving on, the source argues this isn't just about politics. It goes deeper, claiming there's a cultural and ideological battle going on, a deliberate strategy to erase a very unique local identity. And to really get what's at stake here, we need to talk about this concept, Kashmiriyat. So what is it? Think of it as the soul of the valley's culture. It's this historically inclusive, pluralistic way of life, heavily influenced by Sufism, that emphasizes harmony between Muslims, Hindus, and Sikhs. It's really something special. So the big question is, how do you hijack an entire culture? Well, the source lays out a pretty chilling 3-step strategy. First, it alleges that Pakistan's ISI-funded networks of extremist preachers. Step 2, these networks then pushed a radical Salafi/Wahhabi ideology to chip away at that local culture. And the final step, extremist media started pushing violence as the only answer, pulling in educated young people. Now let's talk money and strategy, because beyond the ideological fight, the analysis we're looking at points to some major economic and strategic reasons for all this rhetoric. And this table on the exploitation of Gilgit-Baltistan really tells a story. According to the source, this region is a gold mine packed with minerals and water, and absolutely central to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. The claim is that Islamabad rakes in billions from the region every year. But here's the kicker. The people there have no constitutional status in Pakistan, and almost none of that money gets put back into the local community. It's presented as a classic case of exploitation. So what's the bottom line here? The source argues that by constantly framing Kashmir as this international flashpoint, it creates the perfect smokescreen. It's a distraction that allows for all this resource extraction and these massive CPEC projects to go ahead and disputed land, all while ignoring the legal and political rights of the people who actually live there. Okay, for our final section, let's zoom in on what the source says is the most important perspective of all, the view from the valley. We're talking about the human cost and the growing sense of disillusionment among the people caught in the middle of all this.